This podcast is part of Mishmash Media. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Welcome to another episode of Curbcast. My name is Ivan.
And I'm Stephen.
And we are up to Season 5 of Curbcast. This is a podcast where we review every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm in chronological order, and we are just getting started on Season 5. This is Episode 3, The Christ Nail, and a very funny one, Stephen. I was saying before, especially at the end of the episode, a couple of supernatural elements with the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, it gets a bit silly towards the end. It's mostly pretty realistic, I guess. As realistic as Curb can be, but towards the end it does get a bit supernatural. But it doesn't take you out of the episode. You know, it's a good place it goes to.
Yeah, it was something a little bit different. I mean, it's something that we haven't really seen, you know, because Curb is like it's a really grounded TV show, and we haven't seen that kind of supernatural element in it before. So I found that to be a little bit refreshing.
Yeah, it wasn't overdone. You know, Curb sticks to a pretty tried and true formula, but they do branch out occasionally. But they always come back to what works, and it didn't feel like they were trying to push the limits too much or overreach. It was just a little flavor at the end that worked.
Yeah, and especially with all the Christian symbols in one of the last scenes with Jesus as well. It worked out really well, and a nice reference to Passion of the Christ. That's the film that's the film that's referenced in this episode.
Yes, and Jim Caviezel, the actor. If you want an interesting tale of, I guess you would call it a fall, look him up. Look up his recent activities. It's very interesting and very weird, very unexpected.
Oh, okay. I haven't followed him. I'll probably Google it and see what you're talking about. I literally haven't known about him since Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, he did a lot of TV stuff after Passion of the Christ, and he's a devout Christian, like passionately devout. And
would you say he has the passion of the Christ?
Yeah, he is the passion of the Christ. Christ has passion for him. That's how passionate he is.
Oh, wow.
I'll just say, in regards to his recent activities, I'll just say QAnon and leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, we'll probably stop it there then.
Yeah. This is not a QAnon podcast. It's a Curb podcast.
Yeah, it's not. I don't want to go down that rabbit
hole. No. I just wanted to let you know where he went, the rabbit hole he went down.
Sad. Okay, well, good for him, I guess.
Unexpected.
But anyway.
If you want to get in touch with us, you can. We've got an email address, curbcastpod@gmail.com. We're on social media as well. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit. Curbcastpod is our handle on all of those, so check it out if you like. We also have a Facebook group, the Curb Your Enthusiasm Fan Club, so check that out if you want to join a bunch of other Curb and Larry fans talking Curb and Larry. And finally, you can support us as well financially. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/mishmashmedia. If you want to chuck us $1 a month, you can support us. We don't have any bonus content at the moment because we are working on that, I guess. And Mishmash Media is the name of our fledgling podcast network in which we put this podcast out. And our previous Seinfeld podcast, which you can check out as well, it's called But I Don't Want to Be a Secondary Character. But we are working on bonus content to make it a bit more worthwhile for the Patreon. So if you want to support us at the moment, that would be awesome. And bonus content will be coming online sooner rather than later. And finally, if you want to support us non-financially, you can rate us or review us on your podcast app of choice. It really helps out with visibility and search results, and just spread the word. That would be amazing as well.
Absolutely. But anyway, mate, let's get into it, huh? This is Season 5, Episode 3 of Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Christ Nail. This one aired on HBO for the very first time in the US on October 9th, 2005. In this episode, Larry goes bra shopping for his housekeeper, Maria, but her vengeful husband, Jesus, doesn't like it one bit. Fortunately for Larry, the only things that can save him are a pair of noisy orthoses and a prop from Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. So, yeah. I love how Cheryl's dad's got like the Christ nail on like a necklace. It's so good.
Yeah, he thinks just because it was a prop from a movie about Christ, he thinks it has some sort of magical powers, as if it was from, as if it was actually from when Christ was crucified.
Yeah, he's very devout. Cheryl's dad.
Yeah, I understand. If you were a devout Christian and you got that prop, because that movie is considered the most realistic portrayal of, I guess, Christ's life and his crucifixion. I understand that you would revere it, but to attribute sort of supernatural abilities to it is just really, really weird.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later when his scene comes up. But anyway, here we go. Scene 1 of The Christ Nail. Larry is walking up and down his podiatrist's office to test his new orthotics. He complains about the noise the shoe makes. The podiatrist says that the noise will take a while to get used to, but he should be very comfortable. Larry arrives at home and sees Jesus, a worker, near the stairs. Larry says he looks upset and if he's all right. I was going to call him Jesus. Whoops. Jesus says he is fine. Larry asks him if he can put a Jewish symbol over the door and hammer it over the door for his father. Larry asks if his name is pronounced Jesus or Jesus and if either one is okay. And Jesus says any of those pronunciations are fine. Larry suggests that Jesus gets an orthotic as his feet are sore. And as he's talking about this, Jesus's wife, Maria, who's the housekeeper, suggests that Jesus try the orthotics, and Larry gives him a pair. So, Jesus has some leg and foot problems, and Larry, once again, just like last season with with the condom, the everlasting one, Larry seems to have the solution literally in his jacket.
Yeah, it's very convenient for him and Jesus. But I really like Jesus.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He looks pretty intimidating.
Yeah, he looks pretty jacked. He looks like he works out, or maybe that's just from him being a tradesperson. That would keep him fit, and that would probably also explain the back and foot problems as well.
Yeah, the working in trades for so many years can really wear out your joints.
Yeah, and I mean, this episode came in 2005.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems like the start of what I would call the current focus on physical health and safety. It's a slow moving thing where it's taken more and more seriously, but it feels like it wasn't taken as seriously back then, or it wasn't as it wasn't as practiced, I guess, especially by people working privately in homes rather than big work sites or whatever. So
it was kind of like just get on with the job.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that Jesus is he's Mexican. The actor himself, I can't remember his name, but he's Mexican, so I'm going to assume the character is as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
sure.
I don't think it's unreasonable to say that Mexico probably, when Jesus was growing up and working and learning his trades and his skills in Mexico, the safety standards were probably a bit lower than what you would find in America or maybe even Australia.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to be too negative about Mexico, fantastic country, but, every country has different standards. And I think, just the idea of going to a doctor or in this case, an orthotic specialist to assist with injuries or make your life a bit easier is probably a bit, just not something he would think about because it's just not, it wasn't what he grew up with, I guess.
Yeah, whereas in, I guess not uptown LA, but, like the ritzy part of LA, seeing a podiatrist is just like going to get a coffee. It's just like a regular part of, a resident's life there.
Yeah, I mean, the podiatrist probably has an espresso machine in his office, just...
Or maybe he makes big, thick cappuccinos like Richard Lewis likes.
Yeah.
those 90s styles cappuccinos we talked about in season 1.
Yeah. Do you think that Jesus is just being, he's a very amenable person, nothing seems to faze him unless it's talking about his wife's bra. But at least initially he seems very easygoing and just, amenable. Do you think he doesn't mind being called Jesus or Jesus? Do you think that's just because maybe he gets a lot of, having lived in America for a while, he probably gets a lot of people just calling him Jesus? And he just thinks it's easier to just go along with it rather than correcting them. He's like, well, I'm in America. It's going to happen. I'll just be easygoing about it.
Yeah, I think that is too. Like, I've got that experience here as well. I have people like, because, the way you pronounce my name is like, my name's pronounced as Ivan, right? But sometimes I get people from Europe or maybe like other people who might think I'm Europe, like, I'm of European background, but like people who might have think I've immigrated from Europe or something, and they call me Ivan sometimes. And they're like, oh, is Ivan or Ivan your name? And I'm like, oh, Ivan. I've said like for so many years it's Ivan, anglicized version of saying it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I still get people calling me Ivan. And I'm just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah,
I refuse to correct them. So I do understand Jesus's situation. Yeah, people mispronouncing your name, especially in a country like America where it's predominantly Christian, like Catholic. Yeah, I could imagine he gets called Jesus a lot. So he's probably, I understand his feelings. He gets to the point where he's like, I'm not going to explain myself anymore. I'm done. So I'll just nod my head and be like, okay, Ivan, fine, whatever you want.
Yeah, like he doesn't seem too bothered by it, but I'm sure he's made a decision to go, you know what, it's too much time and energy to correct people. Just going to go along with it. Especially a name, like you said, like Jesus. It's not a common name amongst, I guess, Anglo people, but he's obviously an extremely common person, Jesus of Nazareth. So it would make sense that white people would mispronounce his name.
Yeah, and I think in Mexico, I think a lot of them are very heavily religious as well.
Yeah,
so I think a lot of these countries, they'll call their kids Jesus and like other Christian names as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But no, I get Jesus' feeling. I agree. I think it's like it's gotten to the point where he's so exasperated by trying to explain what his name's actually pronounced as, and he's just like, oh fuck it, just call me whatever you want.
Yeah, he doesn't seem overly defeated. He's just it feels like he just made a decision of like, yeah, whatever. Like it's not worth getting bothered about. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's like me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I got called Stepen by someone last year. I think I called a company like customer service or something. And it was when I got COVID over Christmas and I had to call the health department. And the guy on the phone was really nice. English wasn't his first language. And he, maybe Stephen's just not a name he'd seen a lot, but he called me Stepen because my name's spelled with a PH. He goes, "Oh, hi, am I talking to Mr. Stepen Tilbury," which is my surname. And I just went, yeah. But when I at some point during the phone call, I had to say my own name, maybe to confirm details or something. And I think he picked up when I said my name correctly, and then he called me Stephen after that. But I'd never been called Stepen before. I've gotten Stefan, Stefan.
Stefan, yeah. I was going to say, you never called Stefan more than Stepen.
Yeah, but never Stepen. That was a new one. But he was very nice, and it doesn't bother me. I actually thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. I mean, but that's different though. I mean, it's not like Stephen is a rare name in Australia, and people call him Stepen. I mean, this is probably a bit different to Jesus' situation, where the majority, would mispronounce his name. But yeah, you got like one guy who mispronounced your name, but that's fine. I mean, that's happened all the time. Like my wife, she has a name which could be called basically anything. Yep. When she gets a coffee order, it could be like a variation of a name, and it's like, no, that's fine, whatever. You know what I mean?
I've gotten Evan and David, anything with a V, or with.
I've had Simon so many times.
Ivan,
on the phone. People are like, "Oh, Simon. Hi, Simon." It's like, oh no, that's not my name.
If your name's been mispronounced or is commonly, incorrectly said, I should say, let us know.
Please, no, we'd love to hear it. But yes, we do see Jesus, but this is probably the most temperamental he gets for the whole episode. So we see his really angry side later on.
Yeah.
Cheryl asks about the noise from Larry's feet. He says it's the orthotics, as Cheryl's parents are also in the room. Larry asks why the sign of the cross is used for meals, but not during snacking, to Cheryl's dad. And he seems completely bemused by what he said. Maria walks in moments later. Larry spots something on Cheryl's dad's necklace, and he says it's a Christ nail, which is a prop from the film Passion of the Christ, like we mentioned at the start of the episode. Larry says worshipping God, like as a man, is, in his words, a little gay, as Cheryl dismisses him. Cheryl's dad gets offended by the remark. Oh, he's such an idiot.
Yeah, he's really offending all the Christians in the room. Yeah.
Oh, he is. And probably everyone who's watching as well.
I don't think his parents-in-law were offended when he was talking about, the cross action, I guess you would call it. The limits, it was just a quirky anecdote, or not an anecdote, like a quirky point he was raising. They didn't seem to offend by that because he wasn't poking fun at it. He was just asking a weird question about it. But as soon as he called Christ a little gay, and also that, if Christ was a good-looking woman, he'd have a lot more worshippers. I thought that was funny too.
I thought that was pretty good too, yeah. And they didn't like that at all.
No.
Or if God had a daughter, you'd follow the daughter.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
If she was a good-looking woman, then, just classic Larry, just doesn't care. Saying like no gateway between his brain and his mouth, just it's all coming out.
It's all just filler.
Yeah.
It's all just dumb filler. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, Cheryl's parents weren't concerned about the sign of the cross, but as soon as it went into that territory, then it was like, I feel like Larry probably thought, oh, I inquired about this and they didn't react. Maybe I should just keep going.
Yeah, I think.
Whereas if they stopped him at the sign of the cross, he probably would have like tried to talk around it or something.
Yeah, I think he got a bit of confidence because they, even though they weren't on the same page as Larry with the limitations of cross actions, I don't know what you actually call that. They were a bit curious and a bit confused, like what a weird question. But I think that gave Larry a bit of confidence to ask the next question, which was a bit more spicy.
Yeah, a little bit more spicy.
Well, he didn't even ask a question; he made a statement. But he gained a bit of confidence and then went to the Jesus is gay territory, which is a minefield.
Oh, definitely, which we won't get into.
They have all kind of things on the internet, for the Passion of the Christ.
You're nuts about this Jesus guy, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I have a personal relationship with Christ.
Really?
And yeah.
See, I can see worshiping Jesus if you were a girl. Like if God had a daughter. Jane. I'll worship a Jane.
No.
But, to worship a guy, like a little kind of, it's a little gay, isn't it?
In the next scene, Larry spots a bra on a towel rack in their bedroom. What do they call that? I mean, in Australia, we call them en-suites. Is there a name they call them in America? I don't think they call them en-suites, do they? Master bathroom?
I think I've heard the term ensuite. I can't remember.
En-suite
I can't remember if I've heard that in American shows or if I'm just assuming that they call it en-suites. I don't know. But yeah, whatever it's called, it's a bathroom that's attached to the bedroom as opposed to an independent bathroom.
That's correct, yeah. So Larry spots a bra on a towel rack on the bathroom connected to the main bedroom. That's it. He inspects it, the bra, as Cheryl walks in. Larry explains what the bra situation and why he has it in his hands, and she suspects that he looked at her bra size. He comes up with an excuse as Cheryl doesn't believe him. Cheryl says that they have to let Maria go as she cleans while wearing no bra, and her boobs are just flying around. And Larry's like, yeah, she does have pretty big boobs. Larry tries to convince her to stay. Cheryl gives Larry the ultimatum: tell her to wear a bra or fire her. Larry agrees to do that. And what Larry does a little bit later is not what Cheryl asked. But Cheryl seems pretty perturbed by Maria's free riding of her chest, I guess you could say. She gets pretty upset by it.
Yeah, I think maybe she's, it's just, I mean, breasts aren't necessarily, I don't know, it's a fraught topic. It's, I guess everyone has different, not standards, but, everyone's bothered by different things. And maybe just seeing, and she is quite busty. So maybe just seeing them flopping around in there is, just a bit, she just doesn't want to see that for whatever reason.
Probably in case guests come over or something.
Yeah.
They see her, and then she gets embarrassed or something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. One thing I was, I guess, confused about was why Cheryl was so upset that Larry was looking at her bra size. I mean, he's her husband. They've had sex multiple times. They've probably done freaky sex stuff, but she's really protective of her bra size. She's really bothered that he would know or that he would attempt to find out.
Or maybe she might suspect that he's having an affair, and maybe she's looking at bra size. Maybe she might be thinking, because at this point the marriage is quite fraught.
Yep.
As we have seen in the last couple of episodes, where Larry thought that it was all over from what Cheryl said,
yep.
Even though it wasn't. I don't know. I just feel like maybe at this point, I feel like the marriage is kind of on the rocks
yep.
at this point. And I think like Cheryl, she probably just has ideas of Larry, and she's probably saying, oh, maybe Larry's seeing a woman who has a similar body to me. Maybe she wants to buy lingerie for his mistress or something. Maybe he's just maybe she's got a similar bra size to me. Maybe he's checking, or
yep.
Even though Larry doesn't do that, he's very faithful to Cheryl.
Yep.
But I feel like Cheryl's putting all these seeds of doubt in her mind about Larry, and probably trying to find reasons to kind of end the marriage as well. Maybe he's having an affair. He's drunk or something. He does this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like she's not actively trying to find the reasons, but I feel like she's probably probing everything about Larry to try and find a reason to kind of.
Yeah, I agree with you that she thinks that the marriage is maybe not specifically going to end, but it's on shaky ground for sure. We can see that, and she's a very smart, perceptive woman. She's very self-aware, and she's the one who I think eventually leaves. So obviously she knows sort of the state of the marriage more than Larry. I did want to push back a bit. I don't think that she would suspect him of cheating, because last season she said to him, "You've got 3 months to fuck anyone you want," and he can't capitalize on a free opportunity that she allowed. So I think that
did he?
Yeah, I think that she thinks that
it's open-ended.
What's that?
Or did he?
Well, I mean, he could have. He had an hour, but between the end of the show and midnight.
After the show. He got the massive acclaim at the end of the show. You never know.
It's true. Look, I'm going to guess. I mean, he could pull women anyway. He's a rich, famous person. So if he can't do it in 3 months, and he had plenty of opportunities, and he screwed them all up. Yeah. Aside from the earthquake, that was out of his control. But if he can't do it in 3 months with all these hot women who gave him the opportunity, I don't think that hour would have made a difference. But just back to this scene, I don't think that she would suspect him cheating on her, because if he can't land the deal in 3 months where he's permitted to, and she encourages it, she's like, go out and do it. I want to see this happen.
Yeah.
I don't if he can't do it when he's got the free opportunity to, I don't think he's going to try behind her back. This is maybe a month or two, maybe a few months after the end of last season, after opening night. So there hasn't been a lot of time, I guess. It's not like it's been years and years. I don't know. I just don't think Larry would Larry wouldn't do that, and I don't think Cheryl would suspect him of it. I think she just seems very prudish about it, maybe, about her bra size.
Probably.
It was just weird because it's like, he's literally been inside you. He's probably bought you underwear as gifts. He's seen, like, he knows everything about you, every intimate detail. He's seen every part of you multiple times, but your bra size is like something that's a bit off limits. I get people are private about their underwear and people, get hung up on certain things. That's fine. But it was just unexpected. That's all.
Okay, fair enough. Well, what about, just quickly before we go on to the next scene, what if I had the theory, right, which just came to my head? What if I had the theory that he actually had sex with a woman in that hour, straight after the show?
Okay.
Like actively, like maybe like a fan, like a groupie, not a groupie, but someone went backstage. Say he did just get in over the line with his 10th anniversary. It's just hypothetical. It's probably not true, but I'll put it to you and see what you think.
Yep.
Say he did get the 10th anniversary fuck right down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told Cheryl who it was and all that kind of stuff, because he's open with Cheryl. And then maybe she might think in that moment that maybe Larry, despite the fact he had the opportunity to be with this said woman who's probably of similar build to Cheryl, maybe she might think in the back of her head that maybe he's probably still, maybe he enjoyed the time with the other woman so much that he's still seeing her. I mean, that's just a dumb theory. I think your theory is more plausible, but I just thought I'd throw it out there.
No, I if that were to be true, it's not unreasonable to assume that would make, even though Cheryl encouraged it and offered it to him, it would make her more insecure and maybe a bit more paranoid. And that combined with a evidently failing marriage, those combined would make you a bit more paranoid or a bit more willing to jump to that conclusion that, oh shit, he must be cheating on me. Yes.
I'm not saying that Larry continued with, like, if it did happen, Larry continued with this woman. But I mean, we've heard about, groupies where, like, after a show, some women or even men can get so, in the moment and turned on and they're backstage and they want to, fuck the lead singer. In this case, Larry was the lead. So, maybe they were just so entranced by the performance,
I mean, fame,
like that might happen.
Fame and money is a powerful intoxicant. People are mystified by it and they want to fuck, even if they wouldn't find that person attractive in ordinary circumstances, you make them famous and you make them rich and you also make them really good at what they do. That's very intoxicating for people. So that's, that kind of explains why people turn into groupies, I guess, or just capitalize on the opportunity to fuck someone famous and maybe they ordinarily wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think that that's an unreasonable theory. I just don't think that Larry fucks someone, so it kind of makes the rest of it moot. But if it did happen, understandably that would make Cheryl more paranoid and therefore more, not even more paranoid, but more insecure, because we saw how insecure that she got and how real it was when Richard's quote unquote niece made Larry touch her breasts.
Yes.
And Cheryl saw that and nothing happened. Like there was no sex. And Larry didn't do it of his own volition, and that really, really bothered Cheryl. She was evidently quite upset about it. So if he went through with the full, if he fucked someone, that would definitely make her insecure.
Yeah. But again, I think you're right. I don't think he did, but I just think Cheryl's just probably very insecure.
Yeah.
But it was just something I just thought off the top of my head, and I thought I'd just tell you.
No. I think it's fun to explore these things and talk about them. It was just unexpected that Cheryl would be so sort of bothered by Larry. One thing I thought as well is that, Larry's trying to come up with an excuse. If he was smart, he could say, "Oh, you caught me. I was actually going to buy you some nice lingerie." He could have, even though he would have been lying, and he still could have gone out and bought some lingerie. But if he wanted to turn the situation around and make it look like he was doing something sneaky to buy a gift for Cheryl, that would have been a smart way to get out of it. If he said, "Oh, I needed to get your bra size because I wanted to go buy some nice lingerie as a surprise." But
I mean, and also, like, I have touched on it previously, man, but in earlier seasons, like say seasons 1 and 2, if this scene was, in one of the earlier episodes, Cheryl probably would have laughed at Larry and said, "What are you doing with my bra? Like, what are you doing?" Like, she would have seen it as like, like a comical thing. But in this situation, like in later seasons, she's more intense and serious about everything Larry does. Like, I just found that really interesting, like, because we've watched Curb from like episode 1 until this point, like seeing like Cheryl's attitude towards Larry, even with dumb shit like what Larry does. Like she seems to be more like insecure about it and just like more serious, whereas in previous seasons, like if Larry did something dumb, she'd like kind of laugh at it
Yeah.
You know, like she understood what Larry was like. You know what I mean? And she
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, she even thought she didn't just tolerate it. She thought it was just like he was funny in a way. But in
Yeah,
this case, like
she
she
would
sees
be-
no humor in anything.
Yeah, she would be amused by his less serious weirdo antics. But yeah, every little thing that he does now seems to bother her more. You're right, and I think it's just her tolerance is less and less, and her patience, and you know, any little misstep is a lot more serious because of that. You know, she's got less ability, less room, less willingness to just laugh it off and say, "Well, Larry's just a bit of a weirdo sometimes."
Yeah, that's actually really, really interesting. You know, watching the later episodes of Curb.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it last week, whether it was intentional or not, you know, it's a good, the way that they've slowly shown the degradation of their marriage over time is, you know, again, whether it's conscious or not, has been done really well.
Yeah, it feels really organic.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, in the next scene, the next day at the house, Maria is cleaning the kitchen as Larry walks in. Maria says that Jesus is making noises with his feet, and she's not sure what it is, but we know it's the orthotics. But his feet and legs feel a lot better. Larry tells Maria about her braless situation, and she confides in Larry and says she doesn't like wearing bras as they're very uncomfortable. Larry offers to go buy her a bra at his expense, and after a bit of toing and froing, she reluctantly accepts his offer. So yeah, even though Cheryl said to Larry, make her wear a bra, she never said anything about buying a bra for Maria. So yeah, and Maria, she seems pretty. Once again, she's insecure as well about wearing bras, and she says they're very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't think it's insecurity. I just don't think she likes the feeling. She kind of just like, I just don't like them.
Yeah,
I think for her, it's just a choice of comfort. She's, says, I like it to be free. I like them to be free. I can't remember what she says exactly, but she says something like, I just like to let them out or something like that.
Yeah.
She's the Sue Ellen Mishke of LA.
Yeah, she is. Well, actually, no. Sue Ellen wears a bra, but she wears no top.
That's true. Well, eventually she wears a bra, but initially that's what she's famous for.
No top. Jackie Charles. So yeah, she is kind of like the anti Sue Ellen Mishke of the Curb universe.
Yeah. She's pretty easygoing about it as well. Like I thought that she would react more, not take it too well. The fact that Larry, again, because obviously breasts and bras and stuff, especially in a professional relationship, can be a bit of a sensitive topic. But she's just like, okay, like she's pretty easygoing about it, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, very easygoing. She lets it all out, so to speak.
Yeah.
At Jeff's house later in the evening, Larry walks in and Jeff asks why his orthotics are so noisy. It's funny, you can hear like this like squeaking, like squishing kind of noise every time Larry walks. It's like, actually, it's more like a crunching sound, isn't it?
Oh, it's a bit of both. There's a bit of squeak and there's a bit of crunch.
Yeah, a bit of crunch as well. Yeah,
it's really noisy. There's a lot going on. It kind of reminded me a bit of George Costanza's whooshing jacket.
Oh yeah, the whooshing pants. Yeah,
whooshing pants. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, the pants go whoosh, yeah. But that's more of a whoosh. This is like more like a crunch. I wonder what the Foley department did about this. I wonder how they got that sound effect. Maybe someone ate some cereal,
Yeah.
And they just recorded that sound.
Yeah, they could have walked in
looped
in gravel, or I mean, sometimes they mix sounds together.
Yeah. It's funny what the Foley department can do. It's incredible how they can obtain certain sounds. It's quite amazing. But anyway, Jeff says that he has a housekeeper who steals from them, and he can never find anything that he wants to find. And he says that him and Susie fired her. Larry tells Jeff about his housekeeper's bra situation, and he is unsure about the housekeeper's size. Susie walks in with one of Sammy's teeth, which is Sammy, their daughter, is now at this point, I think 10 or 11, Susie says. And it's her very last baby tooth.
I think she says 11.
Oh, 11. Yep. She's 11. Yep. So she's got her very last baby tooth, and Susie mentions the tooth fairy. It's probably one of my favorite scenes in the episode. Larry questions why Sammy still believes in it at her age. Susie defends Sammy, even though she's 11 years old, and still believes in the tooth fairy. Susie says Larry doesn't understand children. He gazes at Susie's chest as she's yelling at him, and she says what he is looking at as she walks off. Larry comments that Susie's bra size is probably the same as Maria's after looking at her cleavage. Jeff says that he'll check one of Susie's bras as Jeff asks about Cheryl's size, and he says he won't tell Susie's size unless he tells Cheryl's. So we have seen Jeff does have an attraction to Cheryl. We have seen this many times in the series so far. But it sounds like another thing that Jeff wants to know about Cheryl.
Yeah, I think it's just the creepier side of Jeff coming out. He is a bit of a womanizer, and he can be a bit of a sleazebag sometimes. So yeah, I think it's just that side of him coming out. How old were you when you stopped believing in Santa and Easter and the Tooth Fairy and all of that sort of of stuff.
Ooh, probably like 8,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. You?
Probably 6. So I stopped believing in
6.
Santa, and it kind of just, I was like, well, if Santa's not real, none of the others are real. My mum and dad used to hide presents in the cupboard, like probably most parents did. And I found them. I don't know if I was looking for them or if I just stumbled upon them. And I went out and asked Dad, what are these presents doing here 2 weeks before Christmas? And Dad, to his credit, came up with a really good excuse. He said, Santa, sometimes he gets really busy and he has to drop presents off early. So that's what he did. You know, he can't do it all on one night. And I thought that was a pretty good explanation on the fly. But
yeah, because imagine all the millions of children that need presents. You think Santa could just do it all in one night? God.
Makes sense that he spreads it out.
Now he just recruits Amazon to help him. He gets the Amazon drivers to deliver him.
Yeah, pretty quick. He's like, they can do it faster than me.
That's right. Jeff Bezos is the new Santa Claus. On his big dick rocket instead of his sled.
With autonomous reindeer. Yeah, and I didn't buy it. You know, I was like, yeah, right, Dad. And then from then it was all just kind of, that bubble was burst.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, and then the wall got taken up past your eyes and you realised what happened.
Yeah, and then I did my own research and I saw the truth.
You did your own research. What is QAnon at the start? Do your own research. Where's this going, man?
Before that, I was a sheeple. Now I woke up.
Yeah, I'm part of the Great Awakening myself.
Yeah, I was.
About Santa.
The storm came and Great Awakening.
JFK Jr. will be here any minute.
Yeah, JFK Jr. funnily enough delivered my presents on Christmas morning. So I'm a believer.
Yeah, that handsome smile and that good body. And
he turned up and I'm like, well, you're my present. You're a gift to the world.
Yeah, you felt like Elaine in that moment.
Yeah, he was basically Jesus. You know, he turned up to save the world.
Jesus F. Kennedy Jr. Yeah. Yes. Rest in peace, man. But yeah. But yeah, so
what do you think that J in JFK stands for? John? Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Jesus Francis Kennedy.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But anyway, but no, I get your point. I mean, like, Susie does have a good point, though. I mean, like, children should still have some innocence about them. But I think 11 is probably pushing it a little bit. I mean, it sounds like Sammy, I feel like Susie's maybe really trying to shelter Sammy, you know, because Susie, like, can see what people like Larry are like.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want people like Larry influencing my daughter. So I want her to be as innocent as possible for as long as possible.
I think it's also a kid, like, just let it play out. Like, it's no harm if they, you know, if it's like me quite young at 6 or you at 8 or her at 11, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not going to affect them. Just let it exist as long as it does until the kid finds out. You know, I don't think that it's a choice. I don't think you reach a certain age where your kid reaches a certain age where you're like, well, they're too old now. It's like maybe when they get into teen years that changes, but if 11's still pretty young. I mean, my cousin still believed in Santa until he was 12. So and he's he's not some weirdo adult who's like, he's a well-adjusted adult who is perfectly fine. So I don't think there's a rule.
Yeah, true. Just let it go until like they hit puberty. Once they hit puberty and they still believe in Santa, then you're like,
I think it's like once they get to high school, it's different because I think you have to factor in how will the kids around them treat them. If they still, if they're 14 going to high school and they still believe in Santa, I mean, they're probably going to get told that it's not real anyway because high school kids are jerks. But that would make them a bit of a social weirdo. So I think
I think so.
But in primary school at 11, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, but when they're like 15 and believe in Santa, they're definitely a target for bullying.
Yeah,
100%. Anyway, in the next scene, the boys, I call Jeff and Larry the boys. The boys are watching ice hockey on TV and chatting as Larry heads to the bathroom. Really weird. He goes upstairs to the bathroom. You think they'd have like a downstairs bathroom? I mean, I think Jeff and Susie have a big house. You think like there'd be a downstairs like guest toilet or something, but he's got to like walk upstairs to go to the bathroom. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I don't know. That didn't occur to me, but you're right.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, unless if maybe like their toilet was broken, like maybe it's not mentioned like in the scene, but maybe like it's getting renovated, or maybe like the toilet's broken downstairs, I got to go upstairs or something. Maybe there's like a reason, but I just found it really weird how like especially like in even like homes in the 2000s, they even like average homes would have like a downstairs bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just found it really, really odd how he had to go upstairs. It kind of bugged me a little bit, actually.
Yeah, I can tell. You really, you seem bothered by it. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just, from a writing or a plot point of view, it makes more sense to have it upstairs because it means Larry's going to be a bit more isolated and he's going to have more of an opportunity to scope out Susie's bras, which we'll talk about in the next scene. But which he does. Yeah. So I don't know. I think you're overthinking it.
I think I'm overthinking it too. No, I just found it really weird. So Larry heads to the bathroom upstairs. He walks past the laundry room and spots a bra on a pile of clothes. He goes to inspect it and he checks the size of the bra. He puts it over his chest and begins dancing around. How weird.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. He really gets into it. He Yeah, at first he just looks at the size and then he puts it over and it's like he's walking. You know, he's like moving back and forth. He's not quite like dancing as such, but he's
like
it's
playing.
Yeah, he's like walking and he's looking down at it and he's making a weird face. It's an odd scene.
Very, very odd. Yeah, he really gets into it, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he does.
The scene cuts to him leaving his bathroom as his shoes are squeaking. Susie is in Sammy's bedroom swapping over the tooth for some cash as Sammy is asleep. And Susie can hear the orthotics crunching in the background. Sammy wakes up and she's upset that it's Susie who swaps the money rather than the tooth fairy, and that there is no tooth fairy. So this is the awakening moment for Sammy. Susie walks off to confront Larry. She says, "I'm going to kill him," as she walks out of the room. Susie is in the hallway and gets angry at Larry as the shoes wake Sammy up. Larry apologizes and says, like we said earlier, it had to happen eventually. Jeff walks upstairs to see what's going on, and Susie complains about Larry to him. Jeff asks why Larry is breaking his orthotics in at his own house, and Susie tells Larry to leave as Jeff looks on.
Yeah,
Susie gets really, really, really mad.
Yeah, she's I think she's disappointed and frustrated for her daughter more than anything. But yeah, she doesn't mince words. She says, "Get the fuck out of my house."
Yeah, she throws the F-bomb him quite a few times, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's usually very upset at Larry anyway, but she seems extra upset in this scene.
Yeah, she's really, really... Yeah, and you're right, probably more for her daughter more than anything.
Yeah, Susie's marriage, it's been a lot better the last season or two, but for a while it was kind of shaky, and I'm sure, previous to Curb starting, I'm sure it's always been a bit of a ride for her. So, I think she wants to protect the daughter from life in general. I think, she just doesn't want her daughter to potentially come from a broken home, like you said before, be influenced by Larry. She's just very, very not overprotective, but just makes every effort to ensure that, her daughter is safe and, feels good. And if the tooth fairy is something she believes in, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I would think maybe later, I did think maybe later in life, in 10 years or something, if she's ever looking back in this situation, I think part of her would go, well, if I were her, I would think, you know what, even though Larry woke up my daughter and I was pissed off at him, at least he saved me an awkward conversation of having to tell her the tooth fairy's not real.
True. Yeah. I guess in a way, Susie's probably relieved. And probably Larry made a good point saying she's like 11 years old, man.
Yeah.
In a year or two, she'll figure it out herself.
Yeah, I think they're both right. Larry makes a good point of 11, 12 is probably the top age limit. But at the same time, Susie says it's none of your fucking business, and that's true too. So it's a case where they're both right.
In the next scene, Larry is walking upstairs in his house as his shoes are squeaking. Cheryl's parents and Cheryl wake up and she screams at him to get rid of the orthotics as they slam their doors shut. So a bit of a quick scene. They are really pissed off. I love how they all walk out of their rooms in unison and then they slam the doors. Mum and Dad sleep in different rooms. That's odd.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's a snorer or something.
Maybe, yeah. I know it's just really weird, but yeah. And Larry's copying it from all ends.
Yeah, no one's happy.
No one's happy at all. No. The next day, Larry is at a lingerie store, and he tells the saleswoman that he needs one for his housemaid. As she is confused, she's thinking, "Oh, like your wife or your girlfriend or anything like that." And he goes, "No, my housemaid." And it's probably one, she's probably heard lots of them, but she's never heard of that one. He's inspecting bras and find one that looks comfortable. The saleswoman thinks the bra might be for Larry, implying that he might be a cross-dresser, but he denies this.
Yeah, he's a bit embarrassed and he's very insistent that it's not for him. I think the housemaid comment made the saleswoman think that maybe he was having an affair and he was just really honest about it.
Yeah, I'm sure she gets that a lot too. I'm sure she'll have a lot of guys coming in, saying, "Oh, it's my girlfriend" or something. I'm sure she's experienced it. She's probably even experienced cross-dressing men too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
She's had it all, but I feel like it's the first time in her. I feel like she's probably been doing this for a long time, and she's probably never heard of housemaid as the recipient.
Yeah, it's very specific.
Yeah. Even she's caught off guard by it.
Yeah, but she maintains a composure. She's professional. Probably gets a bit of commission too. So it's, no judgment. Let's just do it.
Let's just do it. Exactly. In the next scene, Larry shows Maria the bras he bought as he gives her a bag full of them, and she's happy and walks off. He walks upstairs and spots Susie and Cheryl with their arms crossed in their bedroom waiting for him to arrive. Susie says that she explains about the housekeeper that stole from them, and the one that Jeff mentioned in a few scenes previously, and that they had cameras installed throughout the house to make sure to see, to catch her in the act. She shows a CCTV video of Larry trying on one of Susie's bras as Susie is berating him, and Cheryl begins to question him as Larry is defending himself. That camera must be on the laundry bench somewhere. That's like it's like a side shot of Larry
Yeah, I think it's
and a bit lower.
it might be hidden in something. I do know that in the mid 2000s there was your typical sort of more stealthy cameras were like hidden in a toy or hidden in a an ornament or something. Maybe it was just hidden in something innocuous, so the housekeeper wouldn't realize it's a camera. It is tucked away. It's sort of like it's almost looking up at Larry. Yeah, it's a bit out of a bit out of sight. But I guess that was the point, to try and catch their mate stealing stuff.
It's somewhere, yeah, I know. It's just like, yeah, it's just absolutely weird. I love it. It's just like in the most like innocuous place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny as. Cheryl begins to yell at Larry for him buying bras from Maria, as this is something that she never said that he should do. He just said get her to get a bra, not to actually buy her a bra. And Susie, she always goes to extremes, is convinced that Larry has a perversion to bras and to gets him to fix his fucking shoes, as she tells Cheryl about the Sammy Tooth Fairy situation. So everything's just blowing up on Larry's face at this point, and everyone's just screaming. Even Larry's screaming while he's defending himself.
Yeah, it's all going wrong for him. It's all falling apart.
Yeah.
And look, rightfully so. I think he got caught doing something he shouldn't have. Looking through other people's underwear is just not something you do. And he got caught, and they had a right to be mad at him. I think it was a bit too far though for Susie to, I guess, she kink shamed him, even though he doesn't have a kink to do with bras. It's all, he's looking at bras for specific reasons in this episode. But the fact that she calls him sick because she thinks that he's into bras in some weird sexual way, I was just like, well, that's a bit close-minded. But, yeah, different time, I guess.
Different time, yeah. Susie, I think Susie she's so angry at Larry in that moment, she'll just say anything.
Yeah. I mean, everything that he does bothers her. So yeah, makes sense. And Cheryl's like she's obviously angry and upset and probably embarrassed as well because Susie's her friend. And it's the second incident in like probably 2 days where he's been caught looking at bras or using bras or whatever. But I think Cheryl's also a bit confused and just like, what the fuck's going on? Like. She'd be feeling a lot of things.
Yeah, because Cheryl does mention that Larry did check one of her bras too. So that's when she gets angry. I forgot to mention.
Yeah, I do think though that if she did suspect that he was cheating on her, that this would probably put that to rest. Because it's more evidence that he's just got this weird bra hang up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that basically kills that whole that insecurity from Cheryl.
Yeah, it's just like, well, Larry's just a weirdo.
Simple as that. We all know that. He doesn't need to wear a bra to figure that one out.
Occam's razor. It's simple. Larry's a weirdo. We already knew it, and he's still a weirdo.
Spot on.
Huh? That's what she does? She dances, mincing around, washing dishes?
Well, why are you looking at her bra? I don't understand why you would walk into her laundry room and start rifling through her underwear.
I happened to see the bra there, so I thought, hey, look at that. She seems to be about the same size as Maria.
So that's what you're doing is you're staring at everyone's breasts.
Exactly.
No, I knew I had to buy her a bra, and I thought...
Why are you buying her a bra? You don't have to buy her a bra.
No, who made me get a bra for her in the first place?
Larry walks downstairs. This is the next day, by the way. Larry walks downstairs, and Cheryl's dad is asleep on the couch. Maria comes out and is happy with her bra. Larry asks why Cheryl's dad's asleep, and Maria says that he's tired as he didn't get enough sleep previous night. He asks why the Jewish symbol is not up on the door, as Larry's dad will be here soon. Maria said that Jesus found out that Larry was buying bras for his wife Maria, and he said, because he's wondering where Jesus is, and Maria says that because of that, he said that Larry can go fuck himself. So Jesus is not happy at all.
No, very unhappy.
Larry opens the front door and he sees his dad who's driving in with his carer. Larry goes to get a hammer in a drawer that Maria says, because he asks Maria where the hammer is, and she says it's in one of the drawers. He grabs the hammer from the drawer and he can't find any nails. He spots the Christ nail from Cheryl's dad's necklace. He grabs it. I love when he's grabbing it off Cheryl's dad and it the necklace pushes on his nose, like on the way up.
Yeah.
It's like nice comedic effect there. He gets the Christ nail from the necklace and he nails in the symbol with it on the door. It's funny how he's nailing in a Jewish symbol with a Christian symbol. So I don't know. It's very, very symbolic.
Yeah, I guess, the persecution of the Jews by the Christians.
Yeah, I guess so. There's some analogy there.
Yeah, I think so.
Some allegory.
Whether they meant it or not, I think it can be interpreted that way.
Probably, yeah, maybe. Or they nailed a Jewish man, to the cross. So
that's true. Actually, that's
the cross, the wood.
That's true. That's probably look. If they weren't going for that, I'd be very surprised because it's it's too close to Jesus' crucifixion to not
too close. Yeah, it's too close to be coincidental.
And they have touched in the episode on, they've kind of touched on Christian concepts and stuff as well. So that kind of adds to that.
Yeah, that theological allegories.
Yeah.
Larry nails in the symbol just in time as Cheryl's dad wakes up from the couch wondering where his nail is. Cheryl and Susie walk downstairs. Cheryl's dad is yelling at Larry, and he explains what Larry's done with his Christ nail. Cheryl begins yelling, and everyone is just going nuts. Cheryl's mum walks in as well. Larry's dad heads to the door as they're all yelling at him, and as Larry's dad walks in the door, they all go silent, and he kisses the symbol at the door. It begins with M. What was the name of that symbol? The mama.
I can't remember. Yeah, they said
mama something.
Larry mentioned it at the start to Jesus when he asked him to nail it to the door, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But yeah, Larry's dad I love how Larry's dad kisses the symbol and walks in with his carer, and everyone just goes silent and like, oh hi, Larry's dad. Everyone's just like really polite around him.
Yeah, they have to pretend that they weren't fighting 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I did like the look on Larry's dad's face as well. He was very impressed. He looks at it and then he looks at Larry and gives like a nod of approval with like a that's glad you did that, son. I'm proud.
He's very happy. And I think as well, because they know, because his dad had a stroke a couple of episodes ago, they probably don't want him to get stressed.
Yeah.
If they see like yelling and then he might have another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they just want to take it easy around him and create an easygoing environment.
Yeah, it's good. No, but it's very fun. Yeah, but definitely lots of symbolism in this scene.
Totally.
Larry and Jeff are at Larry's office eating Maria's chicken salad, which they love. Larry mentions in the first scene, I forgot to mention that, or the second scene, that Maria's chicken salad is very, very good. Larry says that he nailed the brass eyes for Maria. He tells Jeff that Jesus quit because of what happened. Jeff asks if he replaced the nail, and Larry said that he bought another prop from the film, and he shows him the Christ nail on a necklace around his neck. Larry crunches on something hard and complains as his tooth falls out. He says that there are bones in the salad, so Maria didn't debone the chicken correctly to make the salad.
Yeah, she obviously was not thorough enough. I did like how Larry just goes, that fucking idiot put bones in there.
Yeah, but fucking idiot put bones in the salad. I know, he's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it sounds like to make the chicken, she probably gets the roast chicken and probably strips it from there. Yeah, it doesn't sound like she buys chicken breast or anything and then does it.
No, I imagine
like boneless chicken.
Because they rave about it. It's obviously really good salad. So I imagine, she cooks it from whole, so it's like extra tasty on the bone. Probably is what
oven bakes it.
Tastes so good. Yeah.
Yeah, oven bakes it and then strips the meat off it.
Yeah, she wouldn't fuck around.
Makes me hungry now. I know she doesn't fuck around. Makes me hungry just thinking about it.
No.
He hears crunching in the distance, and the sound is getting closer. He says that it could be Jesus, as he's wearing the orthotics as well. The scene cuts to Jesus outside. It's so loud that Jesus is actually outside of the office building, and even Larry can hear it then. So there must be pretty loud fucking orthotics.
Yeah, and he's not even close. Like, he's sort of away from the office building. He's walking towards it. So he's he's maybe
at the front,
50, he's maybe like 50 or 100 meters away when Larry starts to hear it, and he can't figure out where it's coming from for a little while. He's looking out the window, and and then I think it shows there's a shot of the office outside where there's no one, so it's a bit mysterious. It's like, where's this coming from? And it takes maybe 5 or 10 seconds for him to actually appear. So yeah, very loud indeed.
Yeah, it is. Jesus rips out a picket sign, a for lease sign, and he rips off the signage, and he walks in with the post. Larry is scared as he opens his office door. Jesus is in the hallway with the post, which resembles the cross that Jesus was crucified on, as Christian music plays in the background. He runs for Larry as Jeff looks on. Larry is running for his life. Jesus is about to get him, but then he falls over and he clutches his foot. And Larry and Jeff turn to Jesus in surprise. It's revealed that he's actually stepped on the Christ nail, which fell out of Larry's pocket as he was running. Reference to stigma.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, pardon the pun, but Jesus Christ. Right?
Yeah, that was good.
Oh my God. There's so many references. Oh man, crazy. Reference to Jesus getting one of the nails, 9-inch nails in his foot. Oh my God. Larry says that the nail saved him as they get Jesus some help. And what they do is they drag Jesus on the ground, and it's like a shot of Jesus's point of view of them dragging him out, and it's meant to represent Jesus getting dragged on the ground by the Romans.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
Larry David as Pontius Pilate.
Oh, he is, man.
Pontius Pilate, did he just, I think he just sentenced him to crucifixion. I don't think he actually did the crucifixion.
No. But I think that cut was also in Passion of the Christ, the cut of Jesus getting, but in that film, Jesus is all bloodied and beaten, like we see like what Jesus went through.
Yeah.
But in this case, the Jesus is dragged on the ground, much like Jesus was in the film.
Yeah.
And you see like the point of view of him being dragged. You see the soldier's feet. In this case, it's the boy's feet.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
Yeah, no, the fact that they worked in so many Passion of the Christ and just generally Christian and even some Jewish concepts and events in there. But it doesn't seem overloaded. But there are a lot in there.
No, it's very well done. I feel like it's very. I love the shot of Jesus. Maybe if you do like the cover art for this episode, do like Jesus with the cross. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. I think that kind of sums up everything.
Yeah, definitely. Very well done. And in the final scene, Larry wakes up the next morning and finds money under his pillow. He turns to Cheryl and says, haha, very nice joke. And Cheryl says that she doesn't know what he's talking about as she turns back around to go to bed. Larry is looking on in bewilderment in the fact that it might have been the actual Tooth Fairy who left money for him. So there you go. In the Curb universe, the Tooth Fairy is indeed real. Apparently, yes. In Curb anyway. So yeah, Larry's mystified.
Yeah, bit of supernatural stuff going on, in a very grand
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we don't see it often, but it's good when it's there.
Yeah, like I said at the start, it's just a tiny little flavor of it. It's not too much.
That's right. And that's the end of the episode. That was the Christ Nail. I give this one 4.5 out of 5, man. One of my favorite episodes. What about you?
I give it 4. I really liked it. Yeah, what did you like about it?
Oh, I just liked the story. It was really great. I really liked Jesus and Maria. I liked the characters in this one. I loved the religious themes in this one as well. I think they were really like tasteful in a way. Like despite Larry's, God looking up to God is gay, comment. I feel like the rest of it was really well done. And especially like you made a good point of like the nail being hit into the Jewish, symbol representing, because Jesus was a Jewish guy, that kind of, and he was like, nailed to like a cross, like wood. It was really, it was very cleverly written.
Yeah, no, it was done very smart. And it didn't really like, even though it kind of like poked fun or Christianity and to a lesser extent Judaism were the topics of the humor, they weren't really insulting them. They were just sort of, I don't know, it was done in this subtle way. It wasn't like, it wasn't direct digs at, those religions or people who follow them, but it was just, but they still use them for the source of comedy. It was really well done.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was great. So yeah, 4.5 for me, 4 for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Excellent. And that was another episode of Curbcast. Thank you so much for listening. Really, really appreciate it. If you want to say hello to us, you can send us an email, curbcastpod@gmail.com. We are on social media as well. Curbcastpod is our handle. And we do have a Facebook fan group for Curb Your Enthusiasm Fan Club. So just search Curb Your Enthusiasm in your search bar in Facebook, and you'll find in the group section, you'll find the fan club. It should be one of the first few options when you go there. So yeah, be sure to like it and follow it and put up your memes and all that stuff. And Stephen, we have a Patreon for our burgeoning podcast network, Mishmash Media, don't we?
That's right. Patreon.com/Mishmash Media is where you can find that. For as little as $1 a month US, you can support us. And you can support us non-financially as well. If you want to rate us or review us on your podcast app of choice, it really helps out with search results and visibility. And if you just want to tell your friends and family or anyone you might know who likes Curb about the podcast, that would be awesome as well.
Indeed. My name's Ivan.
And I'm Stephen.
And we'll see you next week for another episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, or Curbcast, where we talk about another episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. You take care of yourselves and each other, and bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. This podcast is part of Mishmash Media, an independent podcast network. Follow us on social media at Mishmash Media AU or support us on Patreon. All those links are in the show notes.